Hey guys, welcome to StuTube. It is October the 8th. Hopefully you're all enjoying this Bitcoin price action that we're seeing here today with this breakout. If you've been watching my videos in the past, you know that I have been bullish recently. I'm going to start off by looking at my 4-hour chart here. As well, I'm going to dive into why I took this beautiful long position this morning. And I also want to point out something interesting that happened in the charts there that will serve of some importance on this macro point of view that I was pointing out in an earlier video. If you guys think that sounds interesting, hit that thumbs up, give me that like, subscribe if you hadn't, and with that, let's get it. So I want to start off here, guys, by looking at my 4-hour Bitcoin chart. This is on Bitstamp with this chart here. You guys know that in my last few videos I've been pointing out this green triangle, as most YouTubers have been in the crypto space, but also a couple videos ago, I believe it was 2 videos ago, I had mentioned these moving averages. The green moving average is my 21 bar moving average, the orange is 50 and the red is 200, and I said that if the 21 and the 50 got a bullish cross while we're above the 200, that I would be expecting bit of a decent move to the upside that would possibly even break us out of this triangle. And guys, that is absolutely what happened. Not to mention we got this double bottom with this bit of a support box here, just very short term here, and we got this W and a bit of a breakout. One thing I want to warn you guys about though is I have in previous videos also pointed out this purple trend line that will be extended from these 2 peaks here, and I would usually like 3 touch points on a trend line, and since this line hasn't had a 3rd touch point, I would not be surprised if we even hold this green triangle here. If we wouldn't get a 3rd touch point here before a proper breakout, I would be quite surprised. So I wouldn't be all that surprised if we do retest this purple trend line and get a bit of a rejection. That being said, guys, it does not have to happen, and I just want to take a look at the potential move that we could be looking at. If I go from the bottom of the triangle to the height, approximately here, actually, let me just go here so it's easier. There, an approximate height there. Take it from the breakout point of this triangle. And guys, that lines up very well with this previous horizontal resistance. I'll make that red just to clear up the resistance factor there. But that's around 12.5K, and if you guys watch other YouTubers, which I'm sure you do if you've heard of me, because I am a much smaller YouTuber, if you've been watching any other YouTubers out there, I'm sure they've been pointing out the possibility of reaching that 12.5K range as resistance. And that would be a perfect measured move of that triangle, guys. So it's definitely possible, but I wouldn't be all that surprised if we do end up dropping this support flip and even going down a little bit further. And I'll show you in my position right after this as I zoom into my BitMEX chart. I'll show you exactly how I plan to play the rest of this move because I am already in a juicy profit in my position. So with that, let's hop over to the 15-minute chart. Really zoom in here, guys. Alright guys, zooming right into the 15-minute chart on my BitMEX chart here. I'm going to show you a whole slew of indicators of why I entered this trade. Sorry, I know things are a little chaotic here, but it'll all make sense soon here. In my last video last night, I mentioned why I took a trade here. You can go back and watch that video if you want to know why I entered there. But you can see here I mapped out this yellow support line holding this upward trend line here, and when we dropped that, I ended up laddering out of my position just to lock in profits. I didn't want to lose on that position, so no regrets there. But when I woke up this morning, here, I'll clear that off for you. When I woke up this morning, I saw that we had this bit of a double bottom that I had pointed out on the 4-hour there. You can see here where we wicked into it on the 15-minute chart. And to me, that looks like a double bottom range. So I had already mentioned in yesterday's video the importance of what I figured this green line as well as this red line. And you can see here we did hug it for quite a while. And we did eventually break down, but it was a bit of a fake out, guys, and we got right back up above almost immediately. So I wanted to check out some indicators here. So I pull out my RSI. You can see here in this double bottom range, we also had this very slight bullish divergence. Nothing crazy, just a very slight one, so whatever, that's a bullish point to me. But then also here you can see that my momentum indicator was going nuts in this general area here, and as well it was going off here in that double bottom range, which I found quite appealing. And then not only that, but my indicator flipped to blue above this potential resistance that it has. It's basically a way I describe this indicator is basically the RSI on steroids a little bit. So that's just basically another indicator to me that it has flipped bullish and it's above support. And then I figured, you know what, I just got to find a bit of a trend line that, like another trend line that it's breaking out of. And I did map out this yellow downward sloping trend line here. You can see we got an absolute perfect support flip there as well when this indicator flipped to blue and on top of this resistance here. We were also over top of this horizontal resistance here, testing that as a support flip as well. So sorry, I know that's a lot to take in, but just a whole slew of indicators that were telling me that I should probably be long right now, especially that I have been so bullish on the market recently that I just felt like a breakout was imminent, and with that double bottom and everything, I figured I would enter a trade. So this actually broke out quite a bit faster than I was expecting. When my phone alert went off and told me that I had reached my triangle resistance, I was wondering if I mislabeled an alert or something like that. But no, it was absolutely correct. So right there, I decided I better start updating some stop losses. And I was actually meaning to take profits just below my triangle resistance line. But when my alert went, I set more of a trailing stop loss, actually just kind of below where this candle ended up. So we actually got above and started trading above. And I had not taken any profits yet, and I was sitting at about a 60% or something like that on my whole position. At this point, you can see that I started taking profits at this red line here. It was at about a 65%. I took out a third of my position. My second third I have broken into two parts. I know that's a lot to take in, but if we drop this, what I'm looking for a support flip here, if we drop that and it fails, I want to be stopped out of a little more. And then the other thing that I'm waiting for here to be stopped out is I pull out my Fibonacci, going, here we go, just going swing low here to high. And you can see here that I want to be stopped out if we drop the 382, and the rest of my position, the remaining 1/3, will be stopped out if we drop that 618 support range. So giving it a little bit of breathing room there, but not too much. I can't lose on this position. I want to lock in profits the whole way down if we end up dropping, and if not, if we start pumping up, then as we create new structure here, possibly bull flag out of this purple line, etc., then I'll just update my trailing stop losses as we go. But for now, that is what I intend to do with my position. That is what my stop losses are set at, etc., etc. Alright guys, now is where I want to get into the juicy part here. I know my September 24th video had kind of gone over this. I just want to do a bit of a refresher, and as well I've noticed that we actually have some new subscribers to the channel today. So welcome guys. I am still such a small channel that I absolutely notice every single new subscriber I get. So welcome to the channel. Thanks for checking out the channel, and thanks for the positive input from some of you. So that's great to see, guys. And I will really, just in case you haven't watched that video, I want to really point out this little bit of a macro trend that's going on here. I haven't seen this anywhere else. I've obviously seen the macro trend on the logarithmic scale on the weekly chart here before, but what I'm going to point out to you, I haven't seen any other YouTuber talk to, and that is going to be the importance of this 618 fib line. and that's pulled top to bottom, guys. Swing high to swing low, not the opposite way like I was just doing on the 15-minute chart. And that's because I'm looking for a rejection at this 618. And if you've watched any of my other videos, I very well may have talked about this before, but looking at this on a macro scale may blow your mind at the type of price target we could get. And I hate to sound as moon boyish as I'm gonna sound right now, because these price levels seem absolutely ridiculous. I am having a hard time even talking about these price levels that I'm about to say, because I look at things at a much smaller time frame, and it's hard for me to look that far into the future, but I just want to let you know what is absolutely possible. Not probable, possible. Uh, Anyways, guys, with that being said, I'm sure you've probably seen at least this theory before, that pretty much every Bitcoin bear market ends up being like a 80 to 87% price drop, something like that. Like this one, 20K to 3.1K was 84, 85%, somewhere in there. This other range that I have mapped out here, that's a 87% drop. Even this little trading range here, 83% drop. And even this wick here, 85% drop, guys. So anyways, you get what I'm showing you here. And when I look at the 618, being that is the most important Fibonacci line, check out this price action, guys. So here, yes, we did have this one crazy fake out wick, but not even wick, but a fake out breakout, I guess you could say. But after we actually started trading above that 618 line, guys, just check out the kind of price move we got after that, okay? From that 618 line, this isn't even the very low of the swing, just from that 618 breakout point to where we topped out there, over a 2,400% increase, guys. Here we get even this trend here. Very small trading range, which led to a much smaller breakout, but it's still astronomical. We get our close above the 618 here. And now let's take a measured move from the 618 to where we topped out here. 566%, guys. So much smaller, but still a crazy freaking gain, especially off such a small pattern, guys. This did not coil up for very long compared to some of these patterns on here. So I'm going to consider that very small on the grand scheme of things, because look, here again, we end up having our 618 fib line here. You can see we actually topped out at it. We got rejected there once, and then we started trading above it. You can see we even got a bit of a support flip on it here. Now, if we do a measured move from the 618 breakout point to where we maxed out at 20,000, that's another 2,400%, guys. Well, actually 2,467, which might have been pretty much bang on that that other one I showed you. So you get my point. These moves are absolutely fucking huge, and it's that 618 level breakout point, in my opinion, that's going to be the nail in the coffin where Bitcoin absolutely explodes. You can see here, that's even where we got rejected on that 14K pump, guys. So if we start closing weekly candles above that level, I'm absolutely expecting some sort of a massive parabolic run once again, just like Bitcoin has done on all these patterns, guys. You get your 80-85% drop, you break your 618, you get a huge move. That's all there is to it. No matter the size of the pattern, it seems to be just breaking out absolutely huge. And these two look absolutely identical. I mean, how much different can you look? You even have the you have these vertical yellow lines are the Bitcoin halving dates. So really, we could even get rid of this one and say this is a little bit of a different pattern just because it never had the halving on it. So if you want to do it that way, let's say from here, from our 618 to where we actually topped out, that's more, that's closer to a 12,000% increase, guys. That's absolutely huge. But I don't know if I would consider that. I might consider this as the move, especially that it lined up so well with this breakout here that it's such a similar move that that could be the thing. But I just want you guys to see that no matter what these percentages are, they're absolutely huge, and I would expect this pattern right now to do nothing different. You can see here we even had this little bit of a triangle, which our second touch point was even the 618 rejection spot, like the exact same pattern playing out. We got here, if I just zoom, get rid of this, you can see that we have this triangle resistance line. We break above, we start testing it as support, get that support flip, boom, we go to the upside. What is happening right now, guys? We have that exact same triangle pretty much, and right now we are above it. We are testing it as support in these last few weeks here. Everything just looks the same. The only thing that looks different to me is right now we tested the 382 potential rejection point, and that's what we've been testing here rather than the 618. But other than that, everything looks very similar. And even on my smaller time frames, I don't know if I've really pointed it out. I know I've pointed out the 6-1 rejection point a million freaking times, guys. But quite often, if we start consolidating above that 382 rejection point, we often end up hitting the 618 rejection point. You can even see here, that was our first candle close above the 382 here after our big dump, and we totally hit that 618 first try. We did get rejected, but we did hit it. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion, that we actually get a close above this. Not only will that give us our close above the 618, but we'll also have a new macro higher high. And I think Bitcoin, especially after the halving like that, just like back here with this halving date, and then getting out of the triangle, testing that 618, getting your breakout, absolutely parabolic, guys. And I don't see why this would have to be any different. This is where it gets even hard to say the numbers, because if we start looking at another 2,400% increase from that 618 line, which would be around 13.4, 13.5 thousand, somewhere in there, if we get our 2,400% increase for the third time, that's why I say this is possible, guys, because it happened once before. Nobody would have thought that was possible again. It absolutely happened again with the same pattern, so it could, again, not probable, but it could absolutely happen here again. So let's go from our 618. Sorry, just trying to be very precise here. And we'll get our 2,400-ish% move. Guys, that's over 315,000 US dollars. That's why I have a hard time even saying this when I make this video, because that sounds way too ridiculous to me. But let's say we even cut this bull market in half. Let's say it's by far the smallest bull market that Bitcoin's ever had. We cut it in half. Let's say we even get a little 500% move just like that other one. Let's say this is by far the smallest move. We're still looking at a price target of 70,000 US dollars, guys. Let's say 1,000%. Let's say this bull market's only half the size of the last one based on this pattern here. Let's go with a 1,200% for half the size. 156,000, guys. Like, these numbers are absolutely astronomical. The thing is, though, guys, there is a lot bigger players in the game now. There is lots of institutions who are buying up crazy amounts of Bitcoin. I believe it's Grayscale now actually owns half the amount of Bitcoin that Satoshi himself has in that wallet that nothing gets moved from, the creator himself. That is the amount of Bitcoin that these institutions are picking up. They have FOMO the way retail traders, sorry, getting tongue-tied here. They have the FOMO that we had last time as Bitcoin was hitting 20,000. And when you get firms like that putting in billions, literally billions of dollars into this market, Not to mention, I'm not saying that they do trade with leverage, but leverage is an option now. There is so much more money that is able to be accessed in the trading game now, and how that could explode the price astronomical once again, guys. I'm not saying the price has to move up that much percent, because as we hit these higher US dollar values, guys, it takes way more money to move the market higher percents like that. But like I said, with leverage and big players, not FOMO traders like you and I, it could get real interesting. I'm very interested to see what happens if we start closing candles above that 618 around, let's go 13.5 thousand just to play it safe. If we start getting candle closes above that on this weekly log scale, oh boy, guys, I think we're going to have quite the move. And if that happens, you heard it here first. I think that is the final confirmation that Bitcoin needs to absolutely go parabolic. Anyways, guys, with all that being said, let's try and snap back to reality here. Looking at things on a much smaller time scale, like a 15-minute pattern here. This is more my time frames. I play this market swing by swing, pattern by pattern, 4-hour charts, 1-hour charts, 15-minute charts, more so that time frame. But it is a very interesting indication of where the market could be headed when you zoom out and really look at the big picture here of what's going on. So many people that I know who would think I would be absolutely nuts for saying that Bitcoin will ever break $20,000 again. I'm sure that's what everybody thought when Bitcoin was down here. I'm sure when it was around $5, people thought that, oh yeah, that's stupid. What's that ever going to do? What's that ever going to be worth? Well, $20,000 is what it eventually ended up being worth. And I don't think that's where it stops. I don't see why this would be the end of the road for Bitcoin. That just doesn't make sense to me. Markets and assets generally go up with inflation, just like absolutely everything. And this really follows gold, which hits all-time highs all the time. It, just to me, it doesn't make sense that we would never break $20,000 fundamentally, especially as Bitcoin gets adopted into everyday life more and more. And as bigger and bigger players are getting FOMO on this market and really wanting to get involved with this asset, it just seems like, guys, there could be a very, very large bull market around the corner, and I am excited to seize it. I'm excited to trade it. Yeah, it's going to be a great time, and I absolutely think that we are just around the corner. I absolutely could be wrong. We could dump back down into this triangle and absolutely dump and maybe find support way down here again, but I just don't see it. I think as long as we stay above this triangle, above this purple line, I think Bitcoin could be due for an explosion really any one of these weeks now, guys. Like, depending how we find support here, things could get real wild in the not too distant future. So, oh, one last thing I almost forgot there is going back to this 618 line. Something that I've noticed on today's trade, I actually probably would have added to my position had I noticed, but here, let's even just take this tiny ass swing right here. Go top to bottom. Look what happened, guys. We got above that 618 possible rejection point, got above it, came back down, got a perfect retest, a bit of a support flip, and that's the kind of move that this pattern can get, guys. That's on a 15-minute pattern. Just picture if the weekly chart ends up looking like this, guys. I'm not saying that it will. It doesn't have to, and I don't even think it'll look like that. But you get my point. That kind of a pattern can absolutely explode. And I think when we look at that on a macro scale, in my opinion, I don't think that's too unrealistic. It might not look exactly like this, but I absolutely think that a parabolic run will start after that. Even if I go back a little bit, guys, let's even use this as our local high and to swing low. Kind of the same thing, right? I mean, we have our 618 here, we had our close above, we stayed above, and we just carried on higher. So yeah, anytime you start breaking that 618 potential rejection point, there's so many times when I'm pointing out these small time frame trades, guys, that I focus on telling you guys that I do end up taking a lot of my profits, or a part of my profits a lot of the times is what I mean, just below that potential 618 rejection point, because it happens so often. Even like I said, that 14K top last June, that's totally where we topped out. We got rejected hard, and this is one of those cases where I think you break that line and you absolutely explode. And I think on the weekly time frame that it's very possible that that happens again, guys. So that's just kind of why I really wanted to bring your attention to this pattern. I have mentioned it in a video before, but I never went quite as in depth. And again, I do have some new subscribers, and I want to make sure everyone sees this, because I think this is one of the most important patterns that Bitcoin has going for it right now, and I haven't seen a single other YouTuber talk to, will touch on it at all, really. So other than the 80%, 85% bear market being typical, nobody has mentioned this 618 rejection point in their videos, and I just think it's super important and a super good indicator as far as finding when the price is going to break out. I think it's right around this area. If we start trading and finding support there, I think that's where Bitcoin is going to have its big move. That being said, guys, of course, none of this has been financial advice. Always do your own research and form your own opinions. These are only my speculations on the market. None of this has to play out the way I'm predicting. Use proper stop losses, use proper bankroll management, that sort of stuff, guys. But other than that, yeah, please just do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. Always look into what you're doing with your hard-earned money. I don't want to tell you what to do, and I never will. So that being said, guys, if you've appreciated this content, give me a thumbs up, smash that like button, subscribe if you hadn't, and actually let's get the thumbs up for the new people who subscribe, because without people subscribing, I might lose interest and not do this anymore, and then people would lose my insights on the market, and we don't want that, right? I think I have some valuable information here that people can learn from and potentially make some profits off of. So yeah, I know this is quite a small channel, guys. I don't have near the subscribers that a lot of people do. I'm still new, and I do absolutely notice every subscriber that subscribes right now. So congratulations on being some of my first subscribers out there. Everyone listening to this video, it's really cool to see that community growing. So thank you for your support. Thank you for the interest. And guys, with that, I think I've ranted way too long today, but I just feel like I had a lot to go over today, and I think this was probably my most bullish video yet. So yeah, with that, I am going to leave you guys. Stay safe out there, my friends. With that, I'm out. Peace.